Hi, everyone, and welcome to the July installment of the DAT Broker Launch and Learn webinar. My name is Leah Elias, and I am a product marketing manager at DAT and will be moderating today's session. These Launch and Learn events are intended to educate and train users on the full capability of DAT solutions, and the session today will cover 5 demos led by experts on our product team. Before we dive in, I wanted to make you aware that if you have questions for any of our speakers, you can post a comment to LinkedIn or YouTube directly. Questions will be answered at the end of the webinar pending any remaining time available. I also wanted to let you know that all attendees will receive a recording of today's session tomorrow via email as well. All right, let's get started. With me today, I'm very excited to be joined by an incredibly talented group of experts. Jaime, would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. Good morning or afternoon, depending on where you are, everybody. My name is Jaime Salazar. I'm a product manager here at DAT, based in Portland, Oregon. I've been working primarily in DAT1, serving brokers and carriers and shippers who are primarily working on the web experience. And I'm very excited to show you some of the improvements that we've released in the past few months.
All right, Kyle, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah. Hi, everyone. My name is Kyle Patterson. I'm a PM here at DAT, and I've been primarily focused on the migration of directory, onboarding Carrier Watch into our DAT1 experience.
Hi, everyone. I'm Megan McFeely. I'm on the product team here at DAT, working on the DAT1 private networks and lane makers experience, and we're really excited to show you what we have coming up for lane makers today.
Hey, everyone. Nick Patel here, product manager on the DAT IQ team, focused on how we convert the data that's generated on the load board and convert it into actionable insights as part of our IQ experience.
Good morning, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Cole Hitchon. I'm a product manager here at DAT. My focus is around the rate view aspect. And today I'm going to be showing off the IQ rate view batch tool that has recently been added.
Awesome. Thank you all. On the slide here now is going to show a summary of today's agenda. Jaime is going to start things off by running through a demo of new search improvements in DAT1. Megan will show a new look of our Lane Makers tool. Kyle will be providing a special sneak peek of the updated DAT directory. And then Nick and Cole will walk through some enhancements in DAT IQ, which is our analytics platform. So Jaime, I will hand things over to you first to kick us off.
Excellent. Thank you, Leah. So before I dive into the search improvements, I want to show you my shipments, because this is primarily where you first notice some of the changes in the font. We made the font weight more bold than it was before based on your feedback. We've heard that it was a little bit washed out when it comes to all the tables that we had in DAT1. And by increasing the font weight, we improved the readability of your tables so you can quickly find what you're looking for. We also improved how the read and unread pattern worked. So if you, I have here 3 posted loads of my test loads, 3 expire ones. And if I click on one and I go to the details page and I come back, then you'll see that the font weight changed, because this is something that I've already seen. So it helps. When it comes to if you have several hundreds sometimes of postings here in my shipments, you can quickly see what you've seen, what you have not seen, etc. But it's more useful in search. So let me go back. Let me go to search trucks here. I have a safe search from Chicago to Houston. I'm gonna execute that search. First things first, that you may notice, some subscriptions had a beta feature called Top Trucks. It was taking here the about third of the screen on the top. It was a feature that we were testing, where we were making sure that the that head was being taken into consideration, as well as the companies that you have preferred or blocked. You can do so here. And we were showing you those top trucks. We got customer feedback, and we understand that screen real estate is very important, and it's more important than having the top trucks here. So we decided to temporarily remove it, and it'll come back as intelligent matching in the near future. And I'm very excited to show you that in the next, maybe the following live webinar that we'll have. So that is one of the things that you've noticed here. Another thing that we did is we decreased the height of every row, because we understand that, again, screen real estate is super important. And want to be able to fit the most search results on the screen as possible. And the font weight. So as you can see here, some of the live loads that we had, one of them was canceled. So you can see that the weight decreased to almost invisible. But if you are opening a search result, it becomes, the weight decreases from the bold font weight to non-bold. In that way, you can actually easier identify the results that you have seen versus the ones that you have not seen. This replaced the blue dots that we had here on the left side of the table. We got feedback from most of you that they were hard to see or easy to miss. So we definitely had some discoverability issues with that, and we brought back that design pattern from Power, and Structure Search as well had it, so it should be familiar to you all. Another thing that we improved here in search is that similar to the blue dots for the red on red pattern, we used to have green dots indicating those new loads, new trucks in this case, because I'm searching for trucks that are coming in, and I don't need to refresh my screen to see them. So those are going to have a bigger green bar instead of the smaller green dot that we had before. Again, it helps you identify those that are coming in. They're very fresh and new. And as soon as you click and see them, the font weight changes because you already saw it. And the green bar disappears as well because you already saw it. Those are some of the improvements that we've done in search. I want to show you something else that we did. When you are searching for a truck in destination, you're able to say, hey, you know what? I'm searching for trucks that are able to go to Florida and Alabama. You don't have to enter a comma in between or a space in between. It saves an extra click. And when you're all day searching, extra clicks become seconds, becomes minutes, and it could become hours of your time. So we're saving you time here as well. Before I finish this demo, I just wanted to show you a little bit of a tips and tricks for properly working with the search. So one thing that you can do here is hide Canadian results. If your office, your company doesn't work with Canadian trucks, so you can hide them from here. A lot of our carriers are open to go anywhere, and they can leave the destination empty. That means they are in a specific location and open to go anywhere. I know we heard that it sometimes takes a lot of the screen with those anywhere locations, so you can also hide them from here. Another thing that you can do is that if, let's say, I'm searching here, if you have searches that you run every day, you can also save them. And next time that you go, you will be able to see them. So this is the one that I ran earlier, and this is the one that I just saved, and they'll stay here. You can delete them if you want, but it'll allow you to quickly hit search with one button and see the search that you have saved. Again, our goal here is to save you time, save you clicks, and we're constantly listening to your feedback and improving DAT1. So stay tuned. We're gonna have a Q&A at the end of the session. I'll be happy to answer any of your questions. I'm gonna hand it over to my peer, Kyle.
Thanks, Jaime. Hey, everyone. I'm excited to show you where we're at with New Directory. So we are currently in beta, and how you would get to this is you would go to company search and you'd be able to type in any name. And what's new and different with directory that we're doing now is we include all information in the industry. So where before, if you're familiar using our legacy directory, it was just our customers. This is going to be quite a bit more data. And in our initial beta release, we only have our carriers profile pages and broker carriers, soon to follow with broker profile pages and shipper profile pages. So I ran a search a little bit earlier. I'm going to come in here. I'll click on one of the records here. And I want to kind of point out a few key elements on this. First, starting with our header at the top of the page, we provide some initial information about the company, the contact information that we're pulling over, and information about the carrier itself. So key highlights, active date, when the authority was granted and for how long, most recent MCS 150, power units, and number of inspections. We've also added the ability to click on an address. It opens up Google Street View. You can see the location and whatnot. And then we've heard a lot of feedback of knowing, seeing the location, making sure it's a real physical location. As we scroll down the page, you will see that we have inspections. So we show a map of where the inspections have occurred, the number of them by state. We have an overview of the different types of inspections. And then we have reported inspections, where you have the ability to click, see what type of inspection was done, and then the type of violations that were found with it, with a hover state that gives you some more details about that particular violation. We include a crash count on this page as well. And what we've done is in a way to organize the information, we've tabbed out the information so you get it more in bite-sized chunks by different categories. So the first one's just overview, general information about that company. The next one's going to be the authority and environmental data. So this pulls over the FMCSA authority details, lays it out in a very easy to see snapshot. We provide the commodity details. And then if the particular carrier is registered with the California Air Resource Board or with SmartWay, we will show the data there. And then the last feature that we have is we're pulling over BIPD insurance, displaying the current coverage and status of the insurance. Is it active or not? And this is our beta. We have a lot more to go, but we're pretty excited about where we're at. And in our future efforts, we're going to be giving access to directory throughout DAT1 from different search areas so that you can get the key details where you need it, when you need it. So that's it for directory. I'll be available to answer questions at the end. I'm going to hand it over to Megan now to talk about lane makers.
Awesome. Thanks, Kyle. Hi, folks. My name is Megan. I'm a product manager with DAT1, and today I'd like to talk to you about how you can use DAT's Premium Lane Makers tool to find hidden carrier capacity for the lanes that you cover. It's a great tool to identify new carriers to work with based off of their DAT truck posting and load search activity with up to a year's worth of historical data available. So we will start with accessing the DAT Lane Makers tool, which is available in the Tools section of DAT1, which you can access on your left nav bar here, and find Lane Makers. If you've used Lane Makers in the past, you'll notice a couple of differences. One is Lane Makers now keeps you in the DAT1 application, so you're not going out to a new tab or a new window when you open it up. Secondly, we have updated the look and feel of lane makers. All of the functionality remains the same, but the layout and design matches what you might expect to see as the rest of part of DAT 1. So first, we will start with choosing what kind of activity we'd like to see under the report type here. It defaults to carrier activity, which will show account activity with load searches and truck postings. Broker activity is also available, which focuses on truck searches and load postings. But for the purposes of today's demo, we will use carrier activity to find hidden carrier capacity. Next, I will select my origin and destination. Similar to searching for loads or trucks in DAT 1, only one of these fields are required. You can choose to do an open-ended search to expand the scope of your results. To find my specific lane, though, I will enter Dallas to Chicago. I can also select a load type with options for full, partial, or both. It defaults to both, which we will stick with for today. Next, I will choose equipment type that I'm looking for. When I click into this field, I get a drop down with options, or I can type to narrow my search down. For today's demo, I am looking for a van. If I have flexibility with this load, or if I'm looking for a variety of capacity for a given lane, I can select multiple equipment types in this field. So let's also add flatbeds to my search. Finally, you also have the option to customize how far back in time you look and how wide of a search area you want. By default, we have 30 days look back in a market selected. We recommend you start your search here to keep your results recent and specific. However, for harder to cover lanes, you can use these parameters to expand your search to look farther back in time or at a wider area surrounding your origin and destination. In this case, let's look at results within the last year. Once I've set my parameters, I can hit the search button and let lane makers find all of the carriers who have either posted a truck or searched for a load that matches this equipment type, van or flatbed, in the Dallas to Chicago area in the last 12 months. Lane makers will return up to the top 30 results based off the number of searches and trucks posted in my time frame. I do want to point out that for today's demo, I'm working in our sandbox environment, which means that this is test data and may not accurately reflect real activity in our production load board. But we can see, in these results, the volume of load searches and truck postings per DAT carrier account for this given lane. At a glance, I can get information about the company, including their phone number, office location, and types of postings, which will include equipment type from my search, as well as other equipment type they may have posted for that lane. If I click on a lane, I can see additional information, including authority and reviews on DAT. The 3 dots at the end, our kebab menu, if you will, gives you a few more actions that you can take. You can add them to your preferred and blocked list, leave a review, or view their full company profile in the DAT directory. The Lane Makers tool in DAT 1 is a great way to find new carriers to work with on any of your lanes, but especially your difficult to cover lanes. The new look and feel for Lane Makers will be available soon, but if you have the current Lane Makers experience, the original experience is still available for anyone who wants to try it out now. Looking ahead, we'll be continuing to enhance the Lane Makers experience as part of DAT 1, including some future interactions with private networks, truck search, directory, and more. Now I'll hand things over to Nick to show off what's new in the world of IQ.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Megan. And switching gears now, talking about how we expose some of that data to even unlock more of the use cases on DAT. All of the accuracy and decisions you're making are directly correlated with the breadth and volume of data that gets generated with DAT1, and happy to share that, with DAT1, we're generating more than 150,000 transactions every single minute. I'm thinking even more than that based on the great enhancements my dear friend Jaime is making to the platform. And all of that activity, right? Load searches, truck searches, load post, truck post, that gets converted into data, at the various geographic precisions to help you make actionable decisions. So 150,000 transactions every minute. Along with that, we're generating we're reviewing, analyzing over 150 billion in freight invoices to fuel into rate data that my colleague Cole is going to share in a moment, and how that gets converted into actionable insights for your quoting and bidding use cases. So some of this data is available through the load board at the various high-level geographic dimensions, so like at the state and regional levels. Some of this data we provide publicly through DAT.com trend lines. You're able to assess week over week, month over month, and year over year trends as it relates to the rates as well as the capacity or the posting activity. So you can take a look here. We have stats here for the load post, truck post, load to truck ratio, which is our leading capacity indicator that we'll talk about momentarily. Rating data, how that tracks week over week. And then we have different pages here that express capacity geospatially. So here, navigating to demand and capacity at the state level for the van equipment, you could see where markets are trending hotter, cooler, and then how that tracks over time, month to month. So yeah, some of this data we provide publicly through DAT.com trend lines. We embed as part of the freight match workflows. And another great experience that we've introduced is through RateView and DAT IQ applications. You're able to access these tools directly from within DAT1. Go into tools and clicking on market conditions will open up IQ. Alternatively, you could go to iq.dat.com, and that takes you to our landing page for IQ. Here you'll find data at the national level. It's kind of like a front page of a newspaper. Like you could see where the national rates are trending, declining or increasing. You have access to our market update that we do with Ken Adamo on Tuesday mornings at your fingertips. Access to the commentary associated with the data you're seeing here, the top 5 national lanes and the rate trends. The capacity at the state level, as well as the posting volumes there associated with that. And you can navigate actually to the rating experiences and the capacity metrics from within this landing page. So if I want to understand the capacity at a more granular level within California, let's say I'm interested in the Fresno market, I'm taken here to the market conditions map, which expresses our capacity geospatially, right? Everything happens somewhere, as my previous boss used to say. And what better way to actually represent that data but on a map? So if I was interested in understanding how capacity looks like in the past 30 days, let's just take the Fresno market, for instance. Navigating to Fresno here. And let's look at it at the market level here. And you could see the capacity is slightly tight in the last 8 days. Prior business day, neutral market, current day. And then we offer a premium experience and understanding how that capacity is going to look like in the next 8 days ahead. Maybe the capacity is tight, and does it pay to wait a couple days to cover a load? And quickly you get insights into that. Let's say you're moving produce out of the Fresno market. You could change the equipment type to reefer, and you have access to what that capacity is looking like. As you can see, it's quite tight in that market. Even down to 3-digit zip granularity, if you have specific requirements there, within a large zip or within a large market, and being able to drill down and see how that capacity is. Whether you want to look at the posting ratio or the MCI. The market conditions, the score between negative 100 to 100 represents capacity in a meaningful way, meaning we remove a lot of the duplicative noise that occurs with the posting activity that you might expect on a load board. A lot of people refreshing, updating those posts. So we're able to eliminate a lot of that noise and modeling what that capacity looks like for every given market in the US more appropriately. And you're able to see that data even at the more granular levels, like with respect to the raw posting counts. You're able to see that through a trend. So if I was looking at the past 8 days, I would navigate here in the map. Instead of a map, let's say I want to look at that more linearly and see how that the posting ratio is evolving over time. I hope you enjoyed taking a look at this, and most of you with your load board subscription have access to market conditions. So you're doing a disservice if you're not using data to make those decisions, and this is a great way to assess local conditions in the market. I'm going to hand it over to my colleague, Cole, who's going to walk you through some of the rating experiences that we've introduced in IQ.
Thanks, Nick. Appreciate it. So I'm going to be showing off the new rate view batch within IQ. I'm starting actually on the IQ rate view screen intentionally here, just because it's going to drive home a point that I'm going to make in just a second here. But all of the data that you're able to get, whether that's the legacy rate view screen, the gray one, or within the new IQ experience, all of the data available here specific to the current rate, which is the cards at the top, or the month-over-month rates, or even your contribution data. All of that is available in the form of rate view batch, which is really just a spreadsheet of the raw numbers. So just so you can kind of bridge the gap between if you use both of the tools. All right, so let's hop into rate view batch. So really boils down to two primary use cases: bidding, so whether that's contractual or project-based spot bids. So when if you have a lot of lanes that you're continually doing, batch is certainly the way to go. The second primary use case is how am I doing against the market? So if you have a consistent lane or procurement for carriers that you have, this is a great way to continually refresh and revisit how you're performing. So I'm going to just give a quick tutorial guide on the flow and the usage. So before I totally hop in, it was intentional that we made the look and feel a little bit of the same from the legacy, meaning like the flow, the same as legacy. And that's intended to be a little frictionless for you. The template that we use is the same. A lot of the selections are the same. There are some enhancements a little bit easier to use, but we want to make the experience as we transition into the IQ experience just a little bit easier for you. So I'm going to start on this screen, just kind of go over it real quick. So these are all the previous batches that you might have had at any time. If you're on a consistent cadence, you can always resubmit them, so you don't have to continually refresh your own spreadsheet. You can always re-download them. It gives you a little bit of tidbit information in terms of what you entered on the screen that I'm going to show you. More specific to the lane count, what you've selected, and then of course specific to brokered spot. And then at any time you can also just delete or remove them. So I'm going to just go ahead and hop into a new request. So I'm going to select my file. I'm not showing my screen. That's just on your own C drive or wherever you want to keep your data. All right, so this is really the nuts and bolts of the experience. So description is optional, of course, and then some efficiency tools to help you with whether you want to keep all the equipment types or just overwrite and make them all the same. Again, just for your convenience. So again, when I refer to the IQ rate view, all of the rates that we were looking at, this is really what I was referring to. So the current rates that we refer to are really the rates that we saw on the rate cards, or in the legacy rate view, it's the rates that you see in the upper right, and then you can change between the different slider bars or toggles on the left beneath the OD pair. That's really what you're asking here. So one enhancement that we did make that I'm excited about is we made this experience a little bit easier to understand. So we added the auto expand selection or unselection. So when I unselect this, what I'm really asking the tool to do is give me back a 3DZ and a 3-day rate and give me nothing else. The reason that this is important is because you might want to compare apples to apples in terms of geographies, and you only want a 3DZ and you don't care about anything else. Or you might want to do a market because you know that maybe volume or the corridor isn't quite there, and that's totally cool. So flip side, the other benefit is you can also just auto expand and always be guaranteed a rate. Just know that you might not necessarily have apples to apples comparisons, but you're always going to get a rate. Real quick, just kind of flowing down here, backhaul, that's really just, we're switching the OD pair for you. It's just going to be another column. I'm going to show you here in a second. The 13th month history is a month over month look, just as that graph that I showed you at the very beginning. In the middle, it's just those data points. And then the 13th month forecast is if you purchase our RateCast add-on feature to RateView, that's going to be the data points, the median rate that's going to go along with that. I did not clarify at the beginning. I apologize that this is open to just RateCast users today. In the coming months, we hope to release RateView Batch to all of our RateView users. So let's pretend that I go ahead and actually, I apologize. I missed the whole credit balance. So real quick, your company has an allotment, of course, every month it gets refreshed. These values, of course, update real time. So as you select more, you can see how they directly impact. This, you can exceed your limit. Just know that. We never want to be able to take away the ability for you to be able to get rates when you need them. Just know that you might need to follow up with sales if you do go over your credit usage and you have questions on that. So let's pretend that I submit this request. This is really what the batch export looks like. So I'm going to review quickly the values on the right. This is all the data that you would have entered. I just use the template data to make it easy. But just to give you a heads up on what it kind of looks like, of course, city, state can be used, or just postal code. There's a plethora of different types of combinations you can use, and feel free to look at this and dive further into it, additionally with the validation that it offers. Keep in mind the ID is nice too as an optional field in case you have order numbers or load numbers that you want to associate with that specific lane. So real quick, there's a lot of numbers on here. So of course, I'm going to save everybody and not go through all of them, but just quickly highlight what the output does look like. So the mileage on the left, given our latest PC miler version, all of the rates that we see from the current rate, that's what this represents, average, low, and high. And then of course, their corresponding time frame and geos. The numbers in front of the geo is intended to help you sort. So if you wanted to sort this specific column, you could. So 10 will be the most granular, all the way up to region will be the highest. Shifting over, standard deviation, this isn't a value that we provide with you in the UI, but it does help with you understanding a little bit more of the distribution. And then all of the monthly values, the month over month ones. This is the forecasted value. And then as we keep going, this is the backhaul rates. And we are at the end. I know data on spreadsheets is super fun to look at. So with that, I'm going to pitch it back over to Leah. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Cole. And thank you again to all of our speakers today. Before we jump into the Q&A, I did quickly want to share an exciting opportunity to connect with DAT experts in person. You may have heard about DATCon, which is DAT's annual user conference. It is a 2-day event featuring keynote addresses, sessions with industry experts, one-on-one product trainings, and a really amazing opportunity to network as well. Overall, great opportunity to meet and connect with DAT reps one-on-one. DATCon 2024 will take place in Kansas City from October 22nd through the 24th. And we really hope to see you there. Special today for Launch and Learn attendees, you can use code LAUNCH100 for $100 off the current registration price. So definitely encourage you to all take advantage of that deal. If you'd like to learn more about DATCon or purchase tickets, you can visit our website at dat.com/DATCon. And then last thing, after the webinar ends, you will also receive an email with a survey. Please take a look and fill that out for us. It really helps to make sure we're delivering the right updates and making these sessions as valuable as possible for you all. All right, promise that's all I have in terms of shameless plugs. We'll open up the remaining time that we have for Q&A. It looks like we do have a couple of questions that have come through. First off, I believe this question is for Jaime, talking about the hide Canadian filter. Does that apply to all searches?
Good question. Somebody was paying attention. I like the attention to detail. A short answer is no. It applies only to a specific search that you're having. So a specific lane that you're searching a truck for, only for that. You have to set it to the next search that you're doing. But we've heard this feedback also from carriers mostly. And we're working with our UX team to make sure that there's a way to give you more control so you can actually set it and forget it for any search that you run in the DAT1. So that's coming in the near future.
Awesome. Thanks, Jaime. Let's stick with you. You talked about the top trucks section going away. Is that going to return at some point?
So top trucks was a beta feature. It allowed us to experiment, understand user behavior in the DAT1, understand the need for it, and we learned tons. So we're making sure that we're building it in a more intelligent fashion next time, so that we don't only look at deadhead and your blocked or preferred companies, but we also look at historical lane preferences. We can look at like compliance data, like insurance ratings, reviews of the carriers that post in these trucks, so that we provide a more intelligent matching feature. So we're super excited that it allowed us to learn and improve it for the near future.
Awesome. Thanks, Jaime. Megan, can you talk a little bit about getting lane makers into a TMS or accessing through a TMS?
Yeah, absolutely. Historically, Lane Makers has been exclusively a UI tool, something available in the web application. But one of the things that we are working on right now is making an API available to be able to get Lane Makers results into your TMS, or whatever integrated solution you're looking for. So it's going to be something that we're going to be testing in the near future. If you are interested in helping us test the APIs for Lane Makers, please reach out to either customer support or sales, and we can get you guys on the list and connected when we start testing it out.
Awesome. Thank you, Megan. Let's see. Nick, I have a question for you regarding the 8-day forecast option. How does a user get access to that? It looks like maybe not everybody can see it.
Yeah, so the 8-day forecast is an optional add-on to market conditions. The reason why we do that is there's a data science model associated with that, and fueling or taking all of that data, crunching and forecasting out using that model is kind of a value add feature. And you're able to access that through a subscription, add-on subscription that with RateCast, that you could follow up with your sales rep in order to discuss options related to that. And then other than that, the rest of the features on that market condition should be available for you to access.
Well, thank you, Nick. I have, maybe sticking with you, question regarding benefit of using MCI versus something like the load to truck ratio. Can you explain that a little bit more?
Yeah, for sure. The load to truck ratio is what it is, right? So the load postings divided by the number of truck postings, right? Load to truck ratio. And we were able to take all of the aggregate data from the load board at all of the different markets and provide that raw number to you. Where it differs from the MCI is that the market conditions index is actually a ratio that's built using a model that takes all of that raw data, normalizes that data. So there's a lot of cleansing that happens associated with that to give you a more refined metric that you could use to make decisions. It's quite a simple representation, like -100 to +100. +100, the hotter the market, tighter capacity. It's definitely favoring the carriers. Better negotiating position for the carriers, and taking a look at that would help make that determination, versus like using the load to truck ratio. You could understand how the various, like the numerator is changing over time, like the load posting related to truck posting in its raw form. So you could, like, there's use cases for both of those, and they all have its own benefits around making the decision.
Awesome. Thank you, Nick. Kyle, I think this question is for you. Will I still have access to DAT's old directory?
Yes, for now, we're going to enable users to have access to our legacy directory. Once we complete the migration of those features over, we feel that the new directory is going to be the spot where we want everyone to work.
Awesome. Thanks, Kyle. I have a question. Cole, Nick, I think this is for you, and I'm thinking we might need to follow up directly. But question for Cole, what do you recommend to do to mitigate large variances in forecasted median numbers? RFP tool and legacy rate view can differ.
Yeah, there's a few different reasons. Sometimes it's around dates, but I think the best maybe guidance is to maybe follow up and get maybe a little bit more information in terms of some of the examples that we've seen, and then we can get you a much better answer.
Cool. Thanks, Cole. Jaime, I think this question is for you. It's a little long, but Carlos asks, the only thing I missed from the old version was a previous search load dashboard. Is that something that still exists? I think it's asking about a legacy feature.
I believe Carlos is asking about the feature to add notes to every search result so that you can keep notes and you can share it with your team. That is available also in the AT1. So when you're searching for trucks, or if you're a carrier, you're searching for loads, and you open one search result and it expands, there's a button called Notes on the right side of that section, and that allows you to do the same. You can actually add tags to those search results, like called or didn't answer, and you can also add free text, your own note that will be shared with your team. So we do have that feature. If there's anything different, I would like to hear more. So feel free to contact me or call customer support.
Awesome. Thank you, Jaime. Justin Ross asks, will there be a recording that I can share with my team? Yes. So a recording of today's session will be sent to you all attendees via email tomorrow. It looks like we also got an inquiry about follow-up. So the screen here shows our customer support line. This is the best way to get in touch with a DAT rep. I recommend that you email this customer.support@dat.com address directly, and we'll do our best to get you connected with the speakers today. It looks like those are all of the questions that have come through. If your question was not answered live, feel free to email our support team directly. Again, that email address is customer.support@dat.com. Thank you again to our wonderful speakers for reviewing their product demos, and thanks to you all who attended today's session. As a reminder again, a recording from today will be shared via email. Thank you all again, and we'll see you next time.